And we're back with this woman in QA section or stream that I'm trying to put together. And I'm really, really happy to have with us today our amiga Sarah Watkins. Sarah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure and honor. And I'm super excited because there's so much around that happened with you. Uh, to start off, I just want to give a quick glimpse. I met you on last Star East.
Yes.
I believe it was your first star, whatever, your first conference, your first whatever,
Yep. Yep.
and brand new. You just dived in. You already did a talk. You helped workshop, blah. But before I get ahead of myself, why don't you tell the world what's about with Sarah? What do you do? What's up with you?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Sarah, like Leandro said. I currently work as a software development engineer and test at a company called Q2, which does digital banking services, where I work on a test automation team. I write test cases, write test code to automate the tests. But I do a lot more than that. I work on the test architecture and like test ops side of things to help make sure that our processes are as efficient and as fast as possible so we can keep running tests to make sure our product is secure.
My eyes keep open wider, wider and wider. I was like, "Oh wow, Sarah, you're a machine, incredible."
Thank you.
No, I'm surprised. I'm super happy and kind of explains a lot because I was hinting at this on your first experience. I don't want to steal it. Can you share with the people how was your first experience last Star? Is what happened? It was a crazy story.
Yeah. Okay. So I came to Star East. My mentor said, "Hey, if you do one conference this year, you should really try to go to Star East." So I came up with a whole bunch of justifications. I pitched it to my company to see if they would sponsor me to come. And it went through. So I came and I thought, I'm just going to go and listen to talks, hear some, awesome tutorials, get educated. Thought maybe I'd meet some people in the community. That was a hope for me because I was pretty new to test automation and didn't know anybody in COVID, right? So it's like I just want to see what being a in test and quality is like. So that was my expectation. I thought I'm going to come and listen and just be a participant. Well, the first day I was there, um, just kind of in like a networking event, chatting around, enjoying some snacks. And one gal came over to my mentor and she said, Andy, um, my mentor and friend, Pandy Knight, many of you may know him. She came over and said, Andy, I need someone for my panel. I need to find more people for my panel. Are you available on this date and this time? And he said, No, I'm not. I'm flying out for another conference. But Sarah here, she knows about screenplay patterns and test automation, great person. Like, she could be on your panel. And I was like, what? Oh, what? Public speaking? Are you crazy? Andy, yeah. Just, that
No,
kind of thing. I'm just here to be part of the conference. What are you doing putting me on a panel?
how was the panel?
I was on a panel with four other people. I had met the gal who was leading it. That was Melissa, and she reassured me. She's like, "You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it would be awesome." And I felt okay. I'll give it a try. I'm open to change. One of my company's values is change is good.
Hmm.
So I'm like, let's live that out. Let's try it, even though I'm a bit nervous. But I sat on the panel, and funny thing is, we introduced ourselves, each of the panelists, and I had said something about like screenplay pattern and what I did. And I thought, okay, we'll ease into this slowly. But the first question that came in was on something I had said in my introduction. So Melissa, who's moderating, said, Sarah, would you like to answer that first? Oh, I don't even get a warm up. I just got to go. What is this? But I took a stab at it, answered the question, and other people jumped in and added their thoughts, as usually happens on a panel. And it went well. As I got in and got comfortable, just keying off the other panelists and sharing ideas and thoughts and being like, oh, yeah, I do have something I can say. I do have knowledge. I do have things to share that may be beneficial. And it was really cool because after the panel, so many people came up and said, this was really helpful. Like this kind of thing. Listening to sessions is great, but really being able to come in and say, I have a particular question that I came here and I want to get answered. And then ask people. It was really cool to just see people really enjoyed it. It was kind of like an experiment. So it was like, wow, I got to be part of that. I didn't plan that at all.
It was, I'm sure, a great experience. And I think I met you like about right after you were done with the panel. She was so excited. She was all jumpy and nervous and like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's done. Wow, it was great.
And I think that it was great. My first question, like, did you enjoy it? Yes, but super nervous. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think you're part of the group now. And you were like, no, 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 was just a one-time thing. And I kept telling her, like, once you start to like it, once you are comfortable sharing with the people, discovering what you just mentioned, you're done. You're good to come here and be part of the community and share. And then what happened?
So what happened next? If you remember, I said I thought that was my one conference for the year. That was it. Well, I had been on the panel, so Melissa, who's on the board too, said, Sarah, would you like to submit a talk for Star West? I was like, well, okay. Thinking through, the panel went well. People seem to enjoy it, so I must have something I can contribute to this community I want to be part of. Yeah, let me, I'll give it a try. So I, had some content, put together an abstract, and sent that her way. And thought, okay, I'm just gonna maybe I'll do a talk if they accept it. And then my told me, some things if I gave a workshop, and it's like, hey, you could partner with Andy to give a workshop. And it was like, okay, well, if Andy's there, I can,
Is
he'll
he?
he'll
Is
be there
here?
to back me up. He's here. So I went and talked to Andy, and I said, Melissa said if we could give a workshop together. Do you want to give that a try? So he liked the idea. He was for it. And by the
Andy
end of the
being Andy.
conference, yeah, by the end of the conference was like, okay, hey, if you guys want to submit content for a workshop, we'll also review that too. So here I was like getting them content for a talk and then the workshop, and it's like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'm still very, very nervous, very nervous, but I had ones, I've begun to get positive feedback. And Leandro was saying, hey, he signed a book for me. He said, Amiga, you will speak again.
I should have bet with her on that moment because I knew that it was gonna happen.
Yes. And I was like, oh, we'll see. But it turns out they accepted the talk and the workshop. And it was like, oh, I can come. I can come to Star Wet. Now I have to come.
So for the people, how was the workshop? And have you done the talk yet?
Yes.
Okay, sorry,
Yes.
I'm having jumping all over the
Oh, you're
place.
fine.
Yeah, I remember I mentioned yesterday on the itinerary. How were they? What was your experience with the workshop? What was it about?
Yes.
And the talk.
Okay. So the workshop I gave with Andy was called BDD for Champions, where we talked about behavior driven development and how, like, we looked at different problems that people experience in test automation and communicating with their teams, and how BDD is a framework that kind of solves those problems or helps alleviate those problems. It was a full day workshop. Whew, let me tell you, it was long, but it was cool because Andy and I had decided in advance, like, the general areas we'd cover and kind of like to switch off and take turns and what would be really good. So, and we wanted to be very interactive. We didn't just want to lecture at people, but we kind of gave examples. And we're like, okay, we're gonna do the first example, and now split everyone into teams, and you guys give it a try. And then we got to walk around and help people if they got stuck, or and we looked at examples together and iteratively got better. Like, this is where we're going to start, but here's how you can refine, take the thoughts from your brain and turn them into something that is usable and readable, understandable. It was really cool. And by the end of it, like, people seemed to enjoy it. Like, they got help from it. And Andy, of course, checked in with me. How was it, your first tutorial?
Hmm.
And I was like, I could give that again. If we did it, we could do that again. And he was saying it was really good. Like, he's done this kind of workshop by himself where he's like trying to talk but also write. But what one thing we did that was helpful was I was at the board and writing down the feedback from the audience as we were interacting, or from the class, I mean, as we were interacting. And he was like able to keep his thoughts, continuing to like teach and draw out the questions and bring out the feedback. And I was the one taking notes. So it worked really well. And he told me, he's like, I don't ever want to teach this workshop by myself again. I was like, oh, that's good feedback for me too. Like, I had fun. It seemed to go well. So, and I'm like, okay, I could give this one again.
You're a pro now.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I from all the feedback that I have heard, um, I could tell you had the skills and um, all the power and all the energy that I see. It's hard to not to notice. People, have I barely spoken in this session? It's her show right now. I love it. And to move on, how was your talk?
Yes, my talk. So actually, I just came from that not too long ago. I was very nervous for my talk, even though it's like I know the content, even though I had prepared for the virtual talk and had. Oh, can I step back for a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
second?
yeah.
So I had submitted my talk and submitted the
Pre-recorded.
workshop, and in that, I got that I was approved for that. And later down the line, they sent an email, congratulations, your talk has been approved for the virtual track. What? What?
There was echo over there. That was
Yeah,
weird.
just like that. I'm like, did I say that? Yeah, that was my reaction. What, virtual track? You mean I have to get in front of a camera and record this too? Are you kidding me? But I talked with Rochelle, who was helping me out with the conference, the details and stuff, and she said, hey, this is how we'll do it. It's not that big of a thing. And I was like, I'll give it a try. I guess I'm giving the talk, so hopefully it's not too bad for the virtual. So I also got roped into doing the virtual talk.
But it was like a rehearsal, right?
It was kind of like a rehearsal, and I got good feedback too, like, hey, that went well. So I felt, so coming to my talk, I could still feel the nerves. I was not nervous the first couple of days I was here. But when I woke up this morning, I was like, hi, nerves, my old friend.
Uh-huh.
I know I've rehearsed this. I know my stuff, but you're still here bothering me and trying to convince me I don't know. So that's what I was dealing with this morning. I even stepped out. I was enjoying the keynote a little bit, but I couldn't focus. So I was like, it's really good. And I'll have to go back and watch it later virtually to get the rest of it. It's like, I just need to prepare for my talk. So that was helpful, just getting me in a right mind space, and came in and I was surprised. Every table had at least one person. And it was giving my talk, and I felt, well, maybe this is a bit technical and there's a lot of details, but I was trying to make it fun.
What was your talk about?
Oh, yeah, my talk. Okay. So it was called A Journey to Better Automation with the Screenplay Pattern. And the screenplay pattern is a design pattern for test automation. And I think it replaces, so the journey starts with raw, like WebDriver calls, what people usually do when they start writing automation. It's easy to learn. That's where you get started. But then you come to find it gets unruly real quickly. It's hard to read. You don't know what's going on, hard to scale. So then the pattern that most people are familiar with is page object model, which alleviates some of the issues from just making raw calls, but it also leaves something to be desired. So where I work, we use the screenplay pattern. And when I came in and started using that, I found it so easy to use, very intuitive. I spent less time triaging and debugging code, and I could just look at a test case I'd never seen before and understand what the feature was doing. And then the code behind it, because of this pattern we were using. So that's where it's like, where Andy had, encouraged me, you should give a talk on this. It's so beneficial to you. And it's been around for maybe 10 or more years now, but people don't know about it. So that's what my talk was about. It was the very
I can
nutshell.
already tell you're a master at it, the topic, and especially when you're that good at the topic, it just flew. And I'm pretty sure that the nervousness and everything that you were feeling was not justified.
Yeah, not justified. I still
It
had
happens.
it happens.
It's unavoidable. It will creep up on you, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm about to start, and the laptop, and
Yeah. So throughout, I would keep catching myself and try. And every time I found myself getting a little bit nervous, I just smile.
breathe.
Breathe.
That's
right?
why you were so smiley.
I have to remind myself, smile. And it just, having a smile just, okay, gets myself out of my nerves a little bit and like, keep going. Like, we can finish this. I can finish this. I say we because, so it's a journey. And I told everyone when they came in, we got started, I said, you didn't know it, but you all just became my adventure buddies in this talk. So I would say we.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
We will do this. We will discover. So I should switch back to but so yeah, it I was very nervous, but I went and was clicking, going through my slides and presenting the content and self checking myself as I was going through, and I'd feel the doubt creep in, like, no, keep going. You know, this is going to be helpful for someone. And by the end, people had questions. Some people came up and talked to me afterwards because I was okay. So what I shared, like, they made them think. And some people, said, "Hey, we're looking into this now." So I thought, cool, like something I share, like some knowledge I have, like even though I'm nervous, I'm glad I got the chance to share it. And I hope
No,
to continue raising awareness because it's helpful to me. I want people to be able to use this thing I find so valuable. So I guess I have to keep getting over myself and my nerves, right?
I keep my bet. You are gonna continue doing this. We are gonna keep meeting each other at these events, and I'm super happy about that because we need more people, more of that energy. Uh, you're young, you're just getting started, and I see a long track in front of you, and just a journey of successes, and it's awesome. And give me so many smiles, and like it's you are contagious in your energy and in the vibes that you give. That's why I was when I met you and I started to hear you, like, you're done, you're done, you're part of the group. No looking back. You will love it, you will enjoy it. And it seems like I was pretty damn on point, and I'm glad that you're sharing with the people that this is about opening up,
Yeah.
crossing the threshold of fear, of nervousness. What happened after you stepped in there? Was anything bad? Did anyone bite you, slap you, or anything?
Nobody bit me. Nobody slapped me. Even someone came up to me afterwards. He said, "Sorry," like he left like right after like I finished the presentation. I gave room for questions.
Hmm.
And he had left right after, and people getting up during your talk may be very discouraging for a speaker. Even if they just have to use the bathroom or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I appreciate it. He came back and said, "Hey, sorry I had to get up. I had a call I needed to take."
yeah.
So so it was like, oh, so even that thing which could have been bad wasn't.
Wasn't.
And I got an explanation for it. And I think I continue to try because I'm redefining my expectations. I think if that makes sense. I think my expectations are like up here and of like, and that's why I get so stressed out because I'm a perfectionist. So then I feel like it has to be like this, and I can't say and I have to go very smoothly. And if I forget my line or forget where I'm
Wow.
going, and I beat myself up internally for those kind of mistakes. And so it
Mm.
makes it hard. And there's that fear, like you were saying. But what I'm finding is as I practice or as I put myself out there and just give it a try, I'm finding that I thought things were here and people are like, no, like this is really good. I'm glad you shared. Nobody said anything about the fact that I said too many times or had to pause or all these things that maybe they didn't even notice.
No, most of the time people won't notice, and my perspective is that I couldn't be there. I couldn't watch it. Most probably, it was awesome.
Thank you.
I almost have no doubt on. And there are some things that it's a good balance because on one hand, you are mindful of those situations that you got to improve, and I see that you are doing a heck of a job, incredible,
Thank you.
and trying to improve it. But at the same time, you're right. It's not that important, or people are like, "Oh, you see how she's standing," or "Nah." No one is thinking about that, and sadly, it's on the other side. The key is to make them pay enough attention to you so that they are not sleeping or looking at the ceiling, or they have their phones. We are competing towards Twitter and Instagram, whatever they can be
Right.
wasting time on. And I think you're doing great. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Again, I'm super happy. And the other one, as you say, you are breaking your own barriers,
Yeah.
you're pushing towards. And there are some other barriers that I want to quickly get on
Okay.
from the woman, female, girl,
Mm.
lady, whatever you want to call it, perspective.
Yeah.
How is it for you? Because I see you super skilled, super good at what you do, energetic. How is it to interact and like being a girl?
Yeah. It is a challenge in a environment where you're outnumbered. I don't
Hmm.
know what the exact, I think it's like 7-3.
Yeah,
Seven
seems
males,
like the
three
number now.
females, like that,
Yeah.
70-30. So that is a bit of a challenge because then you feel like there's not that many people like me. I don't have that many role models who I can kind of look up to or model myself after. There's some great ones here like Allison and Melissa and Jana, just to name a few people that I know so I can call them out. I can look and see how they're doing it and I can ask them for advice. So that's very helpful to have some. But another thing for me too is I grew up with four brothers.
Cool.
For until I was a teenager, I had four brothers. I now have two more sisters. I
Okay.
love them. It's great. But I think it helps a little bit that I grew up in an environment where I was automatically dominated by the
Mm-hmm.
other gender. So I think that helps a little bit. But it's to help me like fight past those feelings of okay, there's not that many people like me. There's not that many people in this space, you know. I'm not putting down anyone who's giving a talk, but it's nice to have those role models and people you can, you know, who know where you're coming from and your position and your kind of experiences. Um, so it's been great to see that there are some here. And I
Yeah.
also, because of that, I like to, because of my experience, I like to encourage others. So one of the people who came to my workshop, she was very interested. I got a chance to meet her and talk with her. And later we were just talking. I'm like, hey, us speakers, we're no different than like anyone else here.
We're
You know,
human beings.
we're human beings, and it's I was like, don't put us on a pedestal, right? I just have something to share, and someone like Andy who pushed me to say and pushed me and encouraged me to say, you can share this.
Mm-hmm.
You're skilled to do this. And so when I was talking with her, I could tell like she had things, and I was like, you've got experiences. So I'm kind of excited because I encouraged her. I was like, we need more women who like will share and not be afraid of that barrier. So that's something for me is I had people who encouraged me in the space like Andy or Melissa and Jana. And so I want to be that encouragement for other women. I want to be
Great.
like, share my story, right? So that I, if you're watching, you know, and you're maybe afraid of giving a presentation, oh my gosh, I am so afraid of public speaking. But like, I hope my story can encourage you. Even as a woman, like we can do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, actually. And there's a lot of great guys here like Leandro who like aren't causing that kind of barrier. Like we just talk and I met you and it's like, oh, like I don't have to be worried, you know?
Sadly, I think I was one of those pushing you, like, you go and do it more, do it more. You're great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. You were encouraging me. That's what I mean. Like you're encouraging me. You're not like putting me down or like the things that would maybe
Nah.
cause me fear to like speak out in an environment where I'm a minority. Like so to have that kind of encouragement there and there are a lot of people here like that. So that was helpful.
The best part, and for my insights, I was smiling and even getting some goosebumps when you were saying, right, that it's super important to have those role models, more women in QA, more
Yeah.
um, that you feel comfortable, that you can approach, and that truly help you, right? I'm not saying that guys won't help you, but
Right.
there are some understanding channels that you would like to see the example of another woman that made it there, that is a role model.
Yeah.
And where I was starting to get the goosebumps, and
Uh-oh.
I hope that you're gonna get them, is
Oh,
that
no.
you're becoming one. You are becoming that role model and giving right now that spiel, the confidence to people to become, break those barriers, become.
Mm.
I don't want to say better because everyone is great already. Like,
Yeah.
be brave enough to stand up,
Brave. Yeah.
to share, to, I don't know what you already, by the example, just example. I am mind blown, super happy, and I cannot stop smiling. It's not because I'm, well, I'm also a little bit nervous and beneath, but we all are at all times. But that's a great feeling. I'm thrilled. I'm super happy. And you mentioned that you had the influence of your brothers,
Yes.
like from the beginning. And my guess is like from the very beginning, it's important that you start pushing as a girl
Mm-hmm.
towards breaking those barriers and not to be
Oh
like
yeah.
divided and limited by social whatever things.
Oh yeah.
What could you recommend to everyone listening to us? I was scolded earlier not to make the message only for girls because everyone is suffering through those barriers
Yeah.
one way or another. What would you recommend to people to be able to,
To help push.
yeah,
Yeah.
start on these areas, break barriers, or
Mm-hmm. Well, one, I'm going to lay this as the foundation first,
Mm-hmm.
is I believe in incremental progress. To
Yeah.
have the thought of, here's my goal, but it is okay to have like these steps in between.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal might be far out. So if your goal is like break this barrier, what can be the first step? And well, if I'm uncomfortable around a lot of guys, maybe I just find one person, one guy that I can know and talk to and be comfortable with. Maybe it's like, oh, my friend, her brother or something, or someone who's like a safe person to start. Um, that's a very small step. Uh, and it is, but whatever it is, like for you, figure out like what are those kind of small ways that you can get in and try. Because what I've been finding out with this public speaking, being in this space, is I'm my biggest barricade. I'm the biggest
Yeah.
obstacle. The fears, the nervousness, all this. If I listen to those things, they tell me lies. But when I come in and I try it, when I give a talk or give a workshop, no matter how nervous I am, I'm finding, wow, the feedback is really good. My perception of things was maybe incorrect.
Yeah.
And so laying the foundation of incremental progress combined with the thought of get in and try something. Try to, and it can be a baby step. That's fine. But do something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Be brave enough to take a chance, to try something. And then as you find that, like, actually, most people are nice. Most people, like, are not the bad guy or against you, or you find what I've been finding is my fears are wrong,
Yeah.
so I would say be brave enough to even the smallest step, and that's fine, but get that momentum going. um, Take those steps towards your goal, towards those barriers you're trying to break. And as you get in and you try, I bet you'll find like it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do meet resistance, because it happens, we know, then like find your allies, find your people who support you. You know, that's another thing that's been helpful to me is, you know what, I know I have when I fall down or when there's things that kind of like are resistance or setbacks, I have people I can talk that out with. I can express my fears and concerns, to help. Like I'm not doing this alone. As has been mentioned before, why am I speaking in the first place? Because I had ones like Andy who pushed me and encouraged me, to break those. So I had a support system. Um, yeah,
I think if I can sum it up, it's
yeah,
a mix of getting baby steps. I
yep,
mean, first of all, because you said the easiest step first. Like sometimes they are not easy, even if it's the first one, right?
that's
It's
true.
at times it's challenging.
Hmm.
But taking that first baby step
Yes,
maybe may feel a little easier than to try to run the whole marathon.
right.
But and the other one, surround yourself by support, get some help, be in an environment that is like nurturing, right, for
Yes,
what you're trying to do. I i love those recommendations, and in part recent learnings that I'm guessing you're having, and
yeah.
some others that I can tell that you were, I don't know if mindfully or by accident you were doing, but it's awesome that you can share that experience, and you are giving an example. Literally, you're not just preaching. There's the example. She's doing it and breaking barriers, breaking glass, breaking everything, breaking the charts on talks and presentations. And I'm super happy that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. I'm super happy for you. And for the people that want to stay inspired by you,
Hmm.
or if they want to reach out
Yes.
and getting in touch with you, where can people find you?
So the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. You can search Sarah Watkins. There's probably a lot of us, so put Q2 next to it, and you'll find me.
Hmm.
I don't have the EV hat on my LinkedIn profile.
It's an awesome hat, and I don't know if you made it on purpose. One ear is up and the other one is down. It looks pretty cool.
It's got a mind of its own. It's an adventure. But yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's the best way.
Awesome. Everyone, get in touch with Sarah. Get in touch of the awesome example and role model that she's already not becoming. She already is a huge role model. And Sarah, thank you so much for agreeing to sit here and share your experience with
Yeah,
everyone. And I hope to see. Well, I'm sure that I'll see you soon.
definitely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Take care, everyone.